A week before the wedding, I went to the restaurant to go over the menu and seating plans. Just as I stepped inside, a waitress I had never seen before stopped me and whispered urgently, "Go hide behind the partition at the back. I don't have time to explain. Please just trust me." I followed her instructions, and 5 minutes later I realized that the daughter I had devoted my entire life to raising had been carefully taught how to turn against her own mother. I was heartbroken, and at that moment I swore that no matter what it took, those who betrayed me would pay the most painful price. Thank you for being here. Comment where you're watching from and tell me, would you trust a stranger's warning like that? This story includes fictional elements for storytelling and education, but it carries a deeper lesson worth hearing. I never expected a dinner invitation to change everything. When Diane Caldwell called 3 days ago, her voice warm and welcoming, I thought it was kindness. Let's get to know each other before the wedding, Margaret. Just us mothers. Rachel had been glowing about Brandon's family for months, 1 week until the wedding. 200 guests. My daughter about to marry into what seemed like the perfect family. I arrived at the Golden Terrace early. White tablecloths, crystal chandeliers, the scent of garlic and fresh bread. Everything Rachel had promised. Before the hostess could greet me, a young woman appeared at my elbow. Blonde ponytail name tag reading Amber. Her face was pale, strained, eyes wide with panic. "Excuse me," she whispered. "Are you Margaret Sullivan?" I blinked. "Yes. How did you—" Her hand closed around my wrist. Cold, trembling. "Please, you need to trust me. Come with me right now. I'm meeting someone." "I know, that's why you need to hide." She pulled me past tables where couples laughed over wine, oblivious. My heart hammered. This was insane. "I don't understand," I managed. "They'll be here any minute." Her voice cracked. "If they see you, they'll change everything. You won't hear the truth." She stopped beside a tall wooden screen separating the dining room from a private alcove. Behind it, shadows. A narrow space. "Stay here," Amber whispered. "You'll hear everything. Don't come out until I get you." Her eyes locked onto mine, desperate. "Please." I should have walked away, but something in her face, raw fear, barely contained grief, made me nod. She disappeared. I pressed against the wall, pulse thundering. Then I heard the hostess, "Right this way, Mrs. Caldwell." Footsteps, chairs scraping, a woman's laugh, smooth, controlled. "Thank you, darling." "Diane." A man's voice followed. Younger, hesitant. "Are you sure about tonight, Mom? What if Margaret—" "Margaret isn't coming." Diane's tone was clipped. I never actually called her. I just needed her name on the reservation. My blood turned to ice. "The loan papers are ready," she continued. $220,000, all in Rachel's name. The condo as collateral. I couldn't breathe. "She'll sign after the ceremony at the notary's office. She'll think it's standard marriage paperwork." A pause. "By the time she realizes the money will be offshore." "And if she fights it?" Brandon asked. "She won't. Women like her don't fight." Diane's voice was cold. "The debt, $500,000 and climbing, will be attached to her credit. Foreclosure. She'll be ruined, and we'll be free." My hands shook against the wall. "What about Margaret?" Brandon asked quietly. "Margaret seems sharp," Diane admitted. "But Rachel won't believe her. The girl worships you. She'll choose you over her mother every time." A pause. Then, just like the others. I bit down hard to keep from making a sound. Movement. Amber appeared with her notepad, approaching their table. "Good evening. Can I start you with drinks?" Her voice was steady despite what I knew was there. Terror barely held in check. I saw her hands when she returned with water, white-knuckled, shaking. 20 minutes later, chairs scraped. Goodbyes. Diane's heels clicking away. Silence. Amber appeared. "They're gone." I couldn't speak. She pressed something into my hand, a business card. Her number on the back. "I'll explain everything, but not here. Call me." Then she slipped away. I walked to my car on legs that didn't feel like mine, sat behind the wheel, hands gripping the leather until my knuckles ached. They were talking about Rachel, my daughter, my baby girl who still called every Sunday, who'd cried in my arms after her father died, who trusted too easily and loved too hard. The words echoed, $220,000. Foreclosure. Just like the others. How could I tell her? How could I make her believe that the man she was about to marry was planning to destroy her? The drive home blurs into panic and rehearsal. By the time I pull into my driveway, I've practiced the speech a dozen times. None of them end well. But I can't wait until morning. I text Rachel, "Can you come over tonight? It's urgent." She replies within seconds, "Mom, it's late. Wedding stuff is crazy. Please, Rachel, I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important." 3 dots appear, disappear, reappear. Finally. Fine. Be there in 20. I pace the kitchen, trying to calm the tremor in my fingers. How do I make her believe me when Diane has already planted seeds I didn't know existed? When Rachel walks in, she's glowing. "Mom, what's going on?" I was finalizing the seating chart. 200 guests. She laughs. 1 week left. Can you believe it? I can barely look at her. "Sit down, sweetheart." Her smile falters. "You're scaring me. Sit, please." She sinks into a chair at the kitchen table. I sit across from her, hands folded to stop them shaking. "I was at the Golden Terrace tonight," I begin. "I overheard a conversation between Diane and a man about you." Rachel's brow furrows. "Okay. They're planning to take out a loan in your name, $220,000, using your condo as collateral. They'll make you sign after the ceremony at a notary's office, then divorce you in 6 months, move the debt offshore. You'll lose everything." Her face goes blank. "What?" "Rachel, I heard every word. Diane said your name. She said they'd done this before, just like the others. There are other victims." She stares at me, then laughs, sharp, incredulous. "Mom, do you hear yourself? Brandon is going to trick me into signing a loan and leave me." "Yes, that's insane. I heard them. You're lying." She stands abruptly, chair scraping. "You've never liked Brandon, never liked Diane. Now you're making up this conspiracy to stop my wedding. Rachel, please. You're trying to control me. You can't stand me having my own life. You want me stuck here just like you—" "That's not true. Diane warned me about this." She's pacing now, fists clenched. "She told me you might do something like this. She said some mothers can't let go, that they'll sabotage their kids' happiness to keep them close." I freeze. "What? Last month? She said she'd seen it before. Mothers who couldn't handle their daughters growing up." The room spins. Diane has been planting this for weeks. She knew I'd find out. She knew I'd warn Rachel. And she made sure Rachel wouldn't believe me. "Rachel," I whisper, reaching for her. "Please, just this once. Trust me." She pulls away. "I can't." Tears stream down her face. "I can't trust you anymore, Mom." She grabs her purse and walks out. The door slams and the silence that follows is deafening. 30 minutes later, my phone buzzes. I need space. Don't contact me until after the wedding. I sink into the chair Rachel just left alone in the house that suddenly feels too big, too quiet. 6 days. I have 6 days to save my daughter. And she's shut me out completely. I can't sleep. I lie on my back staring at the ceiling, replaying the look on Rachel's face when she walked out. The anger, the tears. "I can't trust you anymore, Mom." 11 o'clock becomes midnight. I reach for my phone, pull up Rachel's contact, my thumb hovering over the call button. Then I remember, don't contact me until after the wedding. I set the phone down, 1 in the morning. I'm still awake thinking about what Rachel said. Diane warned me about this. She said some mothers can't let go. Diane planted that seed weeks ago. She's been preparing Rachel to reject me, to see me as the obstacle. Is Rachel calling Diane right now? Is she telling her I found out? What is Diane saying to her? I imagine Diane's voice calm and soothing. "Your mother is scared, sweetheart. She'll say anything to keep you close." And Rachel believing every word. 2 in the morning. I sit up, turn on the bedside lamp, and stare at the empty side of the bed. James has been gone 5 years. Cancer took him before he could walk Rachel down the aisle. If he were here, what would he do? Would Rachel trust him more than she trusts me? Or would Diane have poisoned her against him, too? 3 in the morning. I walk to the living room and stop in front of the mantel. There's a photo of Rachel at 7, gap-toothed and grinning, her arms wrapped around my neck. She'd scraped her knee on the playground and ran to me sobbing, clutching my shirt like I was the only safe thing in the world. Now she thinks I'm the one trying to hurt her. 4 in the morning. I'm back in bed, but my mind won't stop. If Rachel won't believe me, I need proof. Something she can't deny. Bank records, loan documents, testimony from other victims. I think about Amber, the waitress who pulled me aside, who knew exactly what I was about to overhear. She left me her number. She knows something. 5 in the morning. I sit up, grab my phone, and find the crumpled napkin from the restaurant. Amber's handwriting is small, careful Amber Collins, 70455500198. I open my laptop and type Diane Caldwell, Charlotte, North Carolina into the search bar. Business registration, social media profiles, charity event photos. Nothing that screams fraud. Nothing that would make Rachel believe me. But I keep digging. 6 in the morning. The sky outside is turning gray, the first pale light of dawn creeping through the blinds. I haven't slept a single second. My eyes burn, my head aches, but my mind is clear. If Rachel won't believe my words, I'll show her the truth. I'll find the others, the victims Diane mentioned. I'll find the paper trail. I'll build a case so airtight that even Rachel can't deny it. And I'll start with Amber. I pick up my phone and type a text. This is Margaret Sullivan. We met last night at the Golden Terrace. I need to know everything you know about Diane Caldwell. Can we meet today? I hit send. Then I sit back staring at the laptop screen at the photo of Rachel on the mantel at the empty space beside me where James used to sleep. 6 days left. I'm not giving up on my daughter. Not now, not ever. I start with a search engine. Diane Caldwell, Charlotte, North Carolina. The results load slowly, but when they do, they paint a picture that makes my stomach turn. Chest Ujutro. The first result is a business registration, Caldwell Development, LLC. I click through to the Secretary of State's website. The company was dissolved 2 years ago. Bankruptcy filing. I dig deeper, pulling up court records. Diane's company owed over $600,000 to creditors. Liens notices of default asset seizures. The business address leads me to a photograph online, an abandoned office building with boarded-up windows. 6:30 a.m. I search for personal records. Property tax filings show Diane sold her home 3 years ago, foreclosure sale. No current address listed in Charlotte. She's either renting or living somewhere off the grid. 7 o'clock a.m. I try a new angle. Diane Caldwell fraud. Nothing comes up in criminal databases. But I find a single mention in a local news archive from 4 years ago. Local woman alleges financial fraud by Charlotte family. The case was dismissed. Insufficient evidence. The woman's name isn't listed. 7:30 a.m. I search for Brandon's family. Justin Caldwell. Brandon's older brother has 2 marriages in public records. Both lasted less than 6 months. Both ended in bitter property disputes. One of the ex-wives filed a restraining order. The details are sealed, but the pattern is clear. 8 o'clock a.m. I try to reach Rachel again. I call her number. It rings once, then goes silent. A robotic voice. The number you are trying to reach is not available. She's blocked me. I try texting. The message won't send. I open my email and type, Rachel, please. Just listen to me. I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to protect you. I found records Diane's company went bankrupt. She owes over $600,000. Justin's ex-wives both divorced him in under 6 months. This is a pattern. Please just look at the evidence. I hit send. No response. 8:30 a.m. There's a knock at the door. I open it to find Judith, my neighbor, standing on the porch with a concerned expression. Margaret, I heard from Rachel last night. She called me. My chest tightens. What did she say? Judith hesitates. She's worried about you. She said you've been acting a little strange, that you're trying to sabotage her wedding. I close my eyes. Diane has already started spreading the narrative. Rachel isn't just blocking me. She's telling others that I'm unstable. Judith, I'm not crazy. Diane Caldwell is dangerous. She's planning to steal Rachel's money and leave her bankrupt. Judith's face softens with pity. Margaret, I know you're stressed. Weddings are hard on mothers. But maybe you should talk to someone. A therapist, maybe. She leaves before I can respond. 9 a.m. I sit back at my desk staring at the screen at the evidence that no one will believe. My phone buzzes, an unknown number. I answer. Hello. A young woman's voice, shaky but urgent. Mrs. Sullivan, this is Amber, the waitress from last night. We need to meet. 3 years ago, Diane Caldwell destroyed my life. She took everything from me, and I know she's going to do the same thing to your daughter. I grip the phone tighter. When can we meet? Today. 3 o'clock. There's a cafe called Lucia's on East Boulevard. Come alone. Don't tell anyone. If Diane finds out I'm talking to you, she'll disappear, and Rachel will lose everything. I'll be there. She hangs up. I sit in the silence of my office, staring at the phone, at the search results on my screen, at the photo of Rachel on my desk. 5 days left. And finally I have an ally. Amber Collins sits across from me, hands wrapped tightly around a coffee cup. She looks exhausted, not just tired, but the kind of weary that comes from fighting too long and losing too much. 3 years ago, she begins her voice low, I was engaged to Justin Caldwell, Brandon's older brother. I lean forward. Diane used the same playbook. She told me I needed to sign paperwork to help Justin launch a business. Just a formality, she said. 2 weeks after the wedding, while I was on my honeymoon, Diane took out loans in my name. $88,000. I didn't even know until the first payment was due. My chest tightens. What happened? Justin divorced me 3 months later. Vanished. I lost my condo. I'm still paying off the debt. 2 jobs. I tried to sue, but I lost my signature was on the documents. Legally binding. No way to prove coercion. She looks down at her coffee. I thought I was the only one until I started digging. How did you know about Rachel? Amber pulls out her phone, scrolling to a social media profile. I've been tracking Diane for 6 months. When I saw Rachel's engagement announcement to Brandon, I knew they were going to do it again. So I applied for a job at the Golden Terrace. Diane goes there all the time. I stare at her. You've been watching her. When I saw Diane's name on the reservation list last Thursday, I knew she was setting the trap. That's why I pulled you aside. If Diane had seen me, she would have canceled everything. I had to make sure you overheard. Amber has been 1 step ahead this entire time. Then she swipes to another screen. There's something else. She turns the phone toward me. 3 photos. Rachel sitting across from Diane at a cafe. Different days, different outfits. Timestamps 8 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. My stomach drops. Rachel's been meeting with her. Your daughter didn't just meet Diane at the engagement party. She's been groomed. Diane has been manipulating her for months long before you found out. That's why Rachel didn't believe you. Diane planted the seeds weeks ago. I feel like the floor is falling out from under me. She's been planning this the whole time. Yes, and Rachel doesn't even know. I press my palms against the table. What do we do? Amber leans in. We can still save her. But we need proof. Real, undeniable proof. I know there's at least one other victim, Grace Palmer. If we can find her and maybe others, we can build a case. Enough testimony to show a pattern. Enough to take to the police, to a lawyer. Do you know where Grace is? Last I heard, she's still in Charlotte. I have an old email address. I'll reach out tonight. I look at Amber, this woman who lost everything to the Caldwells, who's been carrying this weight for 3 years, who's now risking exposure to save my daughter. Why are you doing this? I ask. Her eyes meet mine. Because Diane Caldwell doesn't get to do this again. Not on my watch. I nod slowly. Where do we start? Amber pulls out a notebook, flipping to a page covered in handwritten notes. We have 5 days. We need to find Grace. We need to document everything: Diane's bankruptcies, Justin's divorces, the loan patterns. We need to figure out how to get Rachel to see the truth before it's too late. She looks at me, and I see the same fire I feel burning in my chest. Let's get to work. Amber and I sit surrounded by court records and handwritten notes spread across my desk. We've been at this for hours, tracing the trail of victims. Here, Amber says, pointing to a document. Sophia Martinez. Married Justin 4.5 years ago. Property dispute filed, settled out of court. Moved to California. No contact information. I add her name to the list. Victim 1. Grace Palmer. I read from another file. Married Justin 4 years ago. Nurse at Carolina Medical Center, still in Charlotte. Amber nods. I tried reaching out last year. She didn't respond. Too scared, probably. Victim 2. And me. Amber says quietly. 3 years ago, $88,000. Victim 3. I stare at the list. 3 women, 3 marriages, 3 financial disasters. And now, Rachel. There's a pattern, I say. Every 12 to 18 months, there's a new victim. Justin or Brandon acts as the bait. Diane controls everything. The loan documents are always signed after the wedding. Divorce happens within 3 to 6 months. Amber leans back. They're running a machine, and Rachel is next. I pick up my phone. I'm calling Grace. She won't answer. I have to try. I dial the number from the court records. It rings 4 times, then voicemail. I speak carefully. Miss Palmer, my name is Margaret Sullivan. My daughter is engaged to Brandon Caldwell. I believe your family had an issue with his family. I need to talk to you. Please call me back. I hang up and stare at the phone. 1 hour later, it rings. Hello? A woman's voice, cautious. This is Grace Palmer. How did you get my number? We're court records. I'm sorry, but my daughter is getting married in 4 days. To Brandon Caldwell. And I think Diane is planning to do to her what she did to you. Silence. Then, how do I know you're not working for them? Amber Collins is sitting right here with me. Long pause. Put her on. I hand the phone to Amber. She speaks quietly, then hands it back. I'll come, Grace says. Give me your address. 2:00 p.m. Grace Palmer walks into my house. She's in her early 30s, dressed in scrubs, eyes wary and guarded. We sit at the kitchen table. I pour coffee. Tell us what happened, I say gently. Grace takes a breath. I married Justin 4 years ago. Diane was charming, warm. She told me I was like a daughter to her. Her voice cracks. 2 weeks after the wedding, I signed loan documents. Diane said it was for Justin's business. I trusted her. How much? Amber asks. $95,000. I close my eyes. Justin divorced me 4 months later. I tried to fight it. Lost. Filed for bankruptcy. Lost my house. I'm still rebuilding. Grace looks at me, her expression hard-haunted. If your daughter is already involved, I don't know if you can save her. Diane is good at this. She knows how to make you willingly destroy yourself. But you'll testify, I ask. Grace nods slowly. I'll do whatever it takes to stop them. I lean forward. We need a lawyer, William Harris, best in Charlotte. Amber pulls out her phone. I'll set up a meeting. I look at the 2 women sitting across from me. 3 victims. 3 lives destroyed by the same family, and 1 mother who refuses to let her daughter become the 4th. We have 3 days, I say. Grace meets my eyes. Then let's make them count. William Harris sits behind his desk reviewing every page of the documents we've brought him. He's 49, silver-haired, with the sharp eyes of someone who's seen too much of the world's ugliness. He flips through Amber's court records, Grace's bankruptcy filing, the photos of Rachel meeting Diane, my written statement of what I overheard at the Golden Terrace. He doesn't speak for a long time. Finally, he sets the papers down and looks at us. This is a professional operation, he says. Sophisticated. They've been doing this for years. Can you stop them? I ask. William leans back in his chair. The problem is that every victim signed willingly. No physical coercion, no explicit threats, just manipulation. In court, they'll say, these women signed the documents of their own free will, and technically they're right. Amber's jaw tightens. So we can't do anything. I didn't say that. William taps the stack of papers. We need to catch them before Rachel signs. We need proof of the fraud in action. How? Grace asks. We go to the police. We set up a sting operation. Hidden cameras, audio recording at the notary's office. We catch them in the act coaching Rachel, pressuring her, showing intent to defraud. My chest tightens. What about Rachel if she's there when this happens? William's expression hardens. If your daughter is actively participating in signing fraudulent loan documents, she could face charges. But given the manipulation factor, the district attorney's office would likely offer her immunity in exchange for testimony. I close my eyes. She's my only child. I raised her alone after my husband died. Grace puts a hand on my shoulder. Diane used that. She made Rachel believe your love was control. William leans forward. Mrs. Sullivan, I need to be clear about what we're proposing. If the police agree to this, they'll need Rachel to show up at the notary's office. They'll need her to be on the verge of signing. That's the only way to get ironclad evidence, to catch them in the act. I feel like I can't breathe. You're asking me to let my daughter walk into a trap. I'm asking you to save her before it's too late. If she signs those documents, she'll lose everything. Her condo, her credit, her future. And Diane will disappear just like she did with Amber and Grace. This is the only way to stop her. Amber speaks up. We'll be there. All of us. We'll testify. We'll show the pattern. William nods. The police will need all of you. 3 victims, 3 identical schemes. That's enough to build a case for conspiracy and fraud. I look at Grace, at Amber, at the lawyer who's offering us a way out. Then I think of Rachel, my daughter, who thinks I'm her enemy, who's been manipulated into believing a lie. What do we do next? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. We call the police. I have a contact, Detective Crawford. He handles financial crimes. If anyone can make this work, it's him. I nod slowly. Set up the meeting. William picks up his phone. I'll call him now. He dials. The conversation is brief. When he hangs up, he looks at me. Detective Crawford can meet us at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Charlotte Police Department downtown. I stand, my legs shaking. Then let's go. Grace and Amber stand with me. 3 women. 3 victims. And 1 mother willing to watch her daughter be arrested if it means saving her life. William gathers the files. Let's make sure they don't get away with this. We walk out into the cold Sunday morning 2 days before Rachel's wedding, carrying the weight of what we're about to do. Detective Linda Crawford has the eyes of someone who's heard too many stories like mine. But when I finish, she sits up straighter. Start from the beginning, she says. I tell her everything. The overheard conversation at the Golden Terrace, $220,000. The plan to divorce Rachel in 6 months. The offshore accounts. Amber and Grace present their cases. $88,000, $95,000. Lost homes, bankruptcy, signatures on documents they thought were legitimate. William provides the legal analysis, Diane's bankruptcies, Justin's failed marriages, the pattern every 12 to 18 months, a new victim. Crawford takes notes. When we finish, she sets down her pen. This is sophisticated, she says. They use legal documents. The victims sign willingly. No guns, no threats, just manipulation. Can you stop them? I ask. We need to catch them in the act. With recordings, witnesses, proof of intent to defraud. Otherwise, it's he said, she said. William leans forward. We're proposing a sting. Controlled notary, hidden cameras, undercover officers. Let Diane, Brandon, and Rachel show up naturally. Record everything. Arrest when the intent is clear. Crawford nods. I'll run this by my lieutenant. She steps out. 10 minutes later, she returns. It's approved, but there are conditions. What conditions? I ask. We need clear evidence of intent. If your daughter shows up and attempts to sign those documents, she will be detained. My stomach drops. Detained. Crawford's voice is gentle but firm. Mrs. Sullivan, do you believe your daughter knows this is fraud? I'm silent for a long time. I think she's been told it's legal, that it's just a temporary loan. Now Diane is very good at making people believe lies. I pause, but I don't understand my daughter anymore. Crawford writes something down. Wednesday, 10 in the morning. We have a notary who works with us, Helen Vance. You don't need to force them to show up. Diane is panicking because you know she'll accelerate the timeline. Your daughter will get a call, and she'll come. Where? William asks. 415 South Tryon Street, Suite 302. Cameras, audio, undercover officers. When they attempt to execute the fraud, we move in. I close my eyes, and I have to watch my daughter get arrested. Crawford meets my gaze. Or you watch her lose everything, which is worse. I don't have an answer. William speaks. What happens to Rachel after arrest? If she cooperates, if she testifies against Diane and Brandon, the DA will likely offer immunity. She's a victim too, but she has to be willing to help. I nod slowly. Set it up. Crawford slides papers across the table. Sign here. This authorizes the sting. Once you sign, there's no going back. I pick up the pen. My hand shakes. I think of Rachel, who used to run into my arms when she was scared, who now thinks I'm the enemy. I sign. Crawford stands. Wednesday, 10 a.m., 415, South Tryon Suite 302. Be ready. We walk out into the cold afternoon. 3 days until the wedding, and in 72 hours I'll have to choose between protecting my daughter and arresting her. Monday. 2 days left. My house is silent as a tomb. I sit at the kitchen table, coffee gone cold. I don't know what Rachel is doing, what she's thinking. If she's scared, if she hates me. Mid-morning, Judith knocks. Rachel called me last night. She asked about you. She hesitates. She said, there might be a change of plans. My chest tightens. Diane is accelerating the timeline. Did she say anything else? Judith shakes her head. Just that she loves you, even if she doesn't understand you right now. I close the door and lean against it, fighting tears. Monday afternoon, my phone stays silent. I stare at it, praying Rachel will call. Nothing. At 6, Amber texts, saw Rachel parked outside your house. She didn't come in, sat in her car for 20 minutes, then drove away. My heart shatters. So close. But she couldn't bring herself to knock. Monday night. I sit by the window, staring at the dark street. I think of Rachel as a little girl, the way she'd run into my arms when she was scared. The journal entry I found years ago, Mom is my hero. Now she thinks I'm the villain. William calls. Everything's set for Wednesday. Are you sure? No, I say. But I don't have another choice. Tuesday morning. I wake at 5, unable to sleep. I sit at the kitchen table and write a letter to Rachel just in case. My darling girl. If you're reading this, it means I failed. I want you to know I never stopped loving you. Even when you chose them over me. Even when you thought I was trying to hurt you. I hope someday you'll understand. I hope someday you'll forgive me. Love, Mom. I fold the letter and tuck it into a drawer. Tuesday afternoon. I try to keep busy. I clean the house. I make food I don't eat. I check my phone every 5 minutes. At 3, Grace calls. How are you holding up? I don't know, I say. I keep thinking about tomorrow. What if she doesn't show up? What if she does? Either way, Grace says quietly, you did everything you could, but it doesn't feel like enough. Tuesday night. Crawford texts, everything's ready. 10 a.m. tomorrow. I stand by the window watching the street. At 9:30, a car drives slowly past my house. It's Rachel. She stops, looks up at the window. Our eyes meet through the darkness. For 1 second, I think she's going to get out. I think she's going to come inside. I think she's going to let me hold her and tell her the truth. But then she drives away. I whisper into the darkness. Please, sweetheart, see the truth before it's too late. My phone buzzes. Crawford Target received call from Diane. Appointment confirmed for 10 a.m. It's happening. I sink to the floor, my back against the wall. Tomorrow I'll have to watch my daughter walk into a trap. I'll have to watch her get arrested. Or I'll have to watch her lose everything. And I don't know which outcome will destroy me more. I arrive at the notary's office at 9 in the morning. Helen Vance is already there, calm and professional. Hidden cameras are positioned throughout the room. Detective Crawford and 2 plainclothes officers wait in the adjacent suite. I'm in the back room watching through monitors. William sits beside me. Are you ready? My hands are shaking. No, but let's do this. The monitor shows the empty office waiting. Every minute feels like an hour. I stare at the screen watching the door. Will Rachel show up or has she figured it out and run? William hands me a bottle of water. I can't drink it. She'll come, he says quietly. Diane will make sure of it. At 9:45, Crawford's voice crackles through the radio. Suspect 1 arriving. I lean forward. On the monitor, Diane walks into the office. She's wearing a black blazer heels, perfectly composed. She looks like a businesswoman, like someone you'd trust. Good morning, Diane says to Helen Vance. Are we ready? Helen nods. Yes, just waiting for the other parties. Diane checks her phone, taps her nails on the desk. Confident, in control. 5 minutes later, Brandon enters. He looks nervous, won't meet his mother's eyes. He's wearing a suit, but he fidgets with his tie like it's choking him. Sit down, Diane snaps, and stop looking like you're about to confess. Brandon sits, silent. Helen arranges papers on her desk, giving no indication that anything is wrong. I grip William's hand. She's not coming. Give her time. At 9:52, the monitor shows 3 people in the room: Diane, Brandon, Helen. No Rachel. Diane checks her phone again, types something, then makes a call. I know she's calling Rachel. I watch Diane's lips move, her expression carefully modulated, persuasive, soothing. Whatever she's saying, it's designed to pull Rachel in. She hangs up, smiles at Helen. She'll be here any minute. My chest tightens. At 9:55, Crawford's voice comes through, urgent but controlled. Target spotted, entering the building. My heart stops. The door opens. Rachel steps inside. I stare at my daughter on the screen. She's wearing the blue dress I bought her last year for her birthday. Her face is pale, exhausted, scared. But she's here. Diane stands, all warmth and charm. Sweetheart, come in, sit down. We have some paperwork to take care of. Rachel hesitates at the door. For 1 second, I think she's going to turn around and leave. But then Brandon stands, walks to her, takes her hand. It's okay, he says softly. This is just a formality. Rachel looks at him, then at Diane, then at the notary. She sits down. Crawford's voice through the radio. All suspects present. Operation is live. William squeezes my hand. Now we pray. On the monitor, Diane slides a stack of documents across the table toward Rachel. This won't take long, darling. Just a few signatures. Rachel picks up the pen, and I watch helpless as my daughter prepares to sign away her life. Helen Vance begins the procedure. I stare at the monitor, every word like a needle to my heart. Good morning, Helen says, her voice professional and calm. Today we'll be notarizing loan documents and mortgage agreements. Rachel shifts in her seat. Why are we doing this today? The wedding isn't for 3 more days. Diane's voice is smooth, controlled. Plans changed a bit, sweetheart. Margaret is causing trouble. We need to protect the family's assets. Rachel hesitates. Protect them from my mother. She's threatening to sue us. We need to finalize the paperwork now. Helen slides the documents across the table. She reads them aloud, clearly, making sure the cameras catch every word. Loan 1, $120,000 in the name of Rachel Sullivan. Business loan, $65,000 collateral listed as the condo at 2847 Dilworth Road. Personal guarantee, $35,000. Total liability, $220,000. Rachel interrupts. Wait, my condo, Diane, you said this was just... Diane's smile doesn't waver. A mortgage, darling. Standard procedure. Helen continues, her tone deliberately cautious. Miss Sullivan, do you understand? These are loans. If they are not repaid, your condo will be foreclosed. Rachel stands abruptly, her voice shaking. Foreclose Diane. What is she talking about? Diane's mask cracks just slightly. Sit down, Rachel. No, you told me this was temporary. You said you'd pay it back. Diane's voice turns cold. Where do you think the money comes from? Of course it's in your name. That's the only way to get this amount. Rachel steps back from the table. You lied. My mother was right. Diane stands her composure slipping. Your mother is a paranoid lunatic. Now sign the papers. Rachel turns to Brandon, her eyes wide with betrayal. You knew about this, didn't you? Brandon looks down, unable to meet her gaze. Rachel, I tried to warn you. You knew from the beginning. Brandon says nothing. Rachel's voice rises. Answer me. I didn't have a choice. Brandon mutters. My mom, she handles everything. Rachel turns back to Diane, her face pale with rage and disbelief. You used me. You made me think my mother was the enemy. Diane laughs, and there's no warmth in it, no pretense left. You were so easy. Desperate to escape your controlling mother, you begged to be manipulated. I can't take it anymore. I stand. William grabs my arm. Margaret, not yet? Crawford's voice crackles through the radio. Mrs. Sullivan, stay in position. But I'm already moving. I push open the door. Everyone in the room turns. Rachel freezes, staring at me like she's seeing a ghost. Mom. Time stops. The world shrinks to just the two of us. My daughter. My broken, manipulated daughter standing in the wreckage of the lies she believed. Diane recovers first, her smile cold and sharp. Well, Margaret, what a surprise. If you're still watching after that moment, please comment one, so I know you're still here with me. What comes next is heavy and changes everything. A quick note, the following part includes dramatized details for storytelling and learning. If you prefer not to continue, you may stop here. I step into the room, tears streaming down my face. I look straight at Rachel. I tried to tell you, sweetheart. Rachel's face crumbles. The reality hits her like a wave. She whispers, Oh God, you were right. Rachel turns to Diane, her voice shaking with rage. You used me. You made me think my mother was the enemy. Everything you said, every single thing, was a lie. Diane laughs and there's no pretense left. You think I care. You were just a condo and a credit score. That's all you ever were. I step toward Rachel. She backs away. Don't look at me. I don't deserve it. Sweetheart, I helped her mom. Rachel's voice breaks. I told her everything you found. I reported back to her. I betrayed you. The words cut through me like a knife, but I open my arms anyway. Come here. Rachel doesn't move. Diane's voice cuts through the room, sharp and furious. How touching. Now everyone sign the damn papers. I turn to face her. No one is signing anything. You think you have power here. You have no authority. I'm her mother, and I'm here to stop you from destroying my daughter. Diane turns to Brandon. Hold Margaret back. We need Rachel to sign now. Brandon doesn't move. I said do it. Brandon's voice is barely audible. No, I won't do this anymore. Diane stares at him stunned. What did you say? Brandon looks at Rachel, his eyes filled with something that might be remorse. I'm sorry, I tried to tell you. I'll testify about everything. Diane's eyes sweep the room. Helen Vance calm and still. Me standing firm. Rachel crying. Brandon turned against her. She realizes finally what's happening. You set a trap. Yes. Diane turns to Rachel with a cruel smile. You'll still go down with me, darling. You helped me. You're an accomplice. You'll go to prison right alongside me. Rachel sinks into a chair, her face white. The door opens. Detective Crawford steps in, flanked by two officers. Diane Caldwell, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud, money laundering, and extortion. The officers move forward, handcuffs ready. Diane doesn't resist, but she's still smiling. I have lawyers. I'll be out before you finish the paperwork. Crawford's voice is ice. We have 3 victims' recordings, a pattern spanning 7 years, and your son willing to testify. You're not going anywhere." The officers lead Diane toward the door. She stops, turns back to Rachel one last time. "Weak, just like your mother." Rachel stands there trembling. The room falls silent after Diane is gone. Rachel turns to me, her eyes red and swollen. "Mom, I'm sorry. What have I done?" I stand there torn between anger and love. All I want is to hold my daughter, but she chose them over me. She believed Diane's lies. She helped them plan to destroy me, and I don't know how to forgive that. Crawford approaches Rachel gently. "Miss Sullivan, I need you to come with me. We need to take your statement." Rachel's voice is panicked. "Am I being arrested?" "Not yet, but you were involved. We need to understand how much you knew." Rachel looks at me terrified. "Mom." I force myself to speak. "Tell them the truth. Everything. That's the only way." Crawford nods to Rachel. "Let's go." Rachel walks toward the door, then stops. She turns back to me, her voice breaking. "I love you, Mom. I'm so sorry." I can't answer. The words won't come. Rachel leaves with Crawford. Brandon follows, head down. William puts a hand on my shoulder. "Margaret." I sink into a chair, staring at the unsigned document still spread across the table. $220,000. Rachel's condo. Her entire future. Almost gone, but not quite. I saved her, but I lost her in the process. And I don't know which hurts more. Rachel is being interrogated in a separate room. I sit in the hallway outside, listening through the door. Her voice is shaking. I didn't know it was fraud. She told me it was just a temporary loan. I thought it was normal business. The detective's voice is calm but firm. "But you reported back to Diane about what your mother found." Rachel's voice breaks. "Yes. Oh God, yes. I helped her. I thought I was protecting Brandon. I didn't realize." I close my eyes. Every word is a knife. Amber sits beside me, her hand on my shoulder. Grace is on my other side. We're 3 women who've survived the same predator. But right now they're comforting me while my daughter is in that room, confessing to helping the woman who tried to destroy us all. At 2:30, William steps out of a meeting with the district attorney's office. They've agreed to immunity for Rachel in exchange for full testimony and cooperation. I exhale relief flooding through me. She won't be charged. No criminal charges, but Margaret, you need to understand something. He pauses. You could sue her civilly for disclosing your investigation to Diane, for aiding in the conspiracy. She gave them information that could have helped them succeed. I shake my head. I don't want to sue my daughter. I know, but you need to know the option exists. He looks at me seriously. And you need to know there's no excuse for what Rachel did. Even if she was manipulated, she made choices. She chose to believe Diane over you. She chose to report back to them. The words settle like stones in my chest. At 3:30, Rachel is released. She steps out of the interrogation room, her eyes red and swollen. She sees me. She stops. The 20 feet between us feels like 20 miles. "Mom," she whispers. I can't answer. My throat is closed. All I can do is look at her, this woman who used to be my little girl, who I raised alone after James died, who I would have done anything for, who nearly destroyed me. William explains the immunity deal. Rachel nods through her tears. I'll testify about everything. How she manipulated me, what she said about Mom, the meetings we had, all of it. The prosecutor, a stern woman in her 50s, warns her. The defense will paint you as a willing accomplice. They'll say you knew exactly what you were doing. It won't be easy. I know, Rachel says, her voice barely audible. I'll still do it. At 4, Rachel approaches me. Her steps are hesitant, like she's afraid I'll run. Mom, please, I know you hate me, but please let me explain. I stand. I look into her eyes that look so much like James's. It hurts. I don't hate you. I could never hate you. Rachel's face brightens with hope. Then, but I can't look at you right now either. The hope dies. She nods, tears spilling over. I understand. I walk past her out of the police station into the cold afternoon. I get in my car, drive home alone. The house is silent when I arrive. I sit at the kitchen table staring at the chair where Rachel sat just days ago when I tried to warn her, and she didn't believe me. That night, my phone buzzes. A text from Rachel: "Mom, please. I know you hate me, but please let me explain. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I stare at the screen. My daughter. The child I carried, raised, protected. The child who chose a con artist over me. Who helped that woman plan to steal everything I had. Who reported my every move back to my enemies. I turn off my phone. I sit in the darkness of my living room, the silence pressing down on me like a weight. For the first time since my husband died 5 years ago, I feel completely, utterly alone. 4 months, 120 days, 120 letters. Every day a letter from Rachel arrives. Every day I don't open it. They pile up on my kitchen table. I can't throw them away, but I can't read them either. I eat dinner alone. I look at old photos of Rachel on the mantle, her 7th birthday, her graduation, her nursing license. Some nights I turn the frames face down. Other nights I turn them back. In October, I'm at William's office with Amber and Grace preparing testimony. "We found 2 more victims," William says. "Emma Rhodes from Atlanta. Lost $102,000. Another woman in California who settled quietly. 5 women, 7 years. Over $470,000 stolen. With Rachel's testimony, we have them," William says. "Diane is going to prison for 7 to 10 years. "Good," I say. "Has Rachel been in contact?" "Every day." And I don't answer. In November, Amber meets me for coffee. I saw Rachel. She's working 2 retail jobs, going to therapy twice a week. I stir my coffee, saying nothing. She asks about you. I told her you need time. "Tell her not to wait," I say. Amber looks at me. "Do you really mean that?" I don't answer. Because part of me wants Rachel to stop hoping. Part of me traces her handwriting on every envelope, imagining what the letters say. But I still don't open them. In December, the day before the trial, I prepare my testimony. I write down every detail: the Golden Terrace, the overheard conversation, warning Rachel, Rachel's betrayal. The word betrayal makes my hand shake. William reads over my shoulder. "Are you sure you want to use that word? It's the truth." That night, letter 121 arrives. For the first time in 4 months, I open it. "Mom, tomorrow I'll tell them how I betrayed you. You were right about everything. I'm sorry. I love you. Rachel." No excuses, just truth. I cry. I fold the letter and put it in my pocket close to my heart. The next morning, I arrive at the courthouse early. Rachel is already there wearing a simple navy dress, looking 5 years older, thinner, tired. She sees Amber and Grace. They nod to her. She scans the courtroom, searching for me. Her face falls when she doesn't see me. I step inside. I walk to the back row. I sit down. Rachel turns. Our eyes meet. I see pain, guilt, regret, hope. And in my eyes, Rachel sees what I'm not ready to forgive. I'm not ready to forget. But there's a small spark of something that might someday become forgiveness. The bailiff calls all rise. The judge enters. The trial begins. For the first time in 4 months, Rachel and I are in the same room facing the same enemy, together. But not quite. The courtroom is packed. Press in the back. 5 women preparing to face one. On day 1, I take the stand. The prosecutor asks me to recount Thursday, May 2nd. I tell them everything. The Golden Terrace. Amber pulling me aside. The overheard conversation. $220,000. Rachel's condo as collateral. The divorce plan. Just like the others. My voice shakes when I describe warning Rachel. My daughter didn't believe me. She thought I was trying to control her. On day 2, the other victims testify. Amber, $88,000. Justin, manipulation. Grace, $95,000, same pattern. Emma Rhodes, via video from Atlanta, $102,000. All confirm the same scheme. Willing signatures. Total devastation. On day 3, Rachel takes the stand. I sit up straighter. The prosecutor asks, "How did you meet Diane Caldwell?" Rachel explains, "Met Brandon, got engaged. Diane approached her friendly and warm. 3 secret meetings before the wedding. Diane planted doubts about me. Your mother is controlling. She can't let go." Rachel's voice breaks. "She made me believe my mother was the enemy. She told me the loans were temporary normal business. I was in love, desperate to prove I was an adult. She used that." Then the hardest question. "Did you report your mother's suspicions back to the defendant?" Rachel collapses. "Yes. I told Diane everything Mom found. I thought I was protecting Brandon from my mother's paranoia. I didn't realize I was helping destroy my mom." Rachel looks at me. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." My heart breaks, but I don't respond. On day 4, Brandon testifies against his mother. She said Rachel was stupid enough to think this was legal. She knew Rachel was being deceived. She didn't care. On day 5, the jury deliberates 3 hours. Verdict guilty on all counts. Conspiracy to commit fraud, money laundering, extortion, forgery. Diane receives 7 years in federal prison plus full restitution. Brandon and Justin get 3 years probation and restitution orders. Diane shows no remorse. As she's led away, she mouths to Rachel, "Weak." Rachel flinches. Outside, Amber and Grace approach Rachel. "You were brave today." Rachel shakes her head. "It doesn't make up for what I did." "No," Grace says gently. "But it's a start." They leave. Rachel turns and sees me by my car 50 feet away. We stare at each other. I take 1 step forward, then stop. Hope flashes across Rachel's face, but I can't. Not yet. I get in my car. Drive away. In the rearview mirror, Rachel stands alone, watching me leave, just like I once was. Alone. Every morning for the past 6 months, Rachel's letter appears on my front porch. Never mailed, always hand-delivered. Which means Rachel drives here every morning, leaves the letter, drives away. Every morning I add it to the pile of unopened letters. 183 letters. 6 months. Today I stop. I stare at the pile. 183 days my daughter has tried to reach me. I pick up the first one dated the day after the confrontation. My hands shake as I open it. Handwritten. Brief. "Mom, I don't know what words to use. I don't expect forgiveness. I'm just sorry." Raw, honest, painful. I open the next one, and the next. Hours pass. I sit at the kitchen table reading all 183 letters, a chronicle of Rachel's journey. Weeks 1 through 4, guilt, insomnia, crying every night. Month 2, started therapy, working 2 jobs to pay off debt. Month 3, preparing to testify, terrified but determined. Month 4, after the trial, complete collapse. Months 5 and 6, slowly rebuilding, learning to live with guilt. One letter from 3 weeks ago stands out. "Mom, I got a job at a nonprofit that fights financial fraud, teaching young women about manipulation, gaslighting, warning signs, and relationships. They hired me because of my story. I hope this makes up for a small part of what I did." I cry when I read this. She's turning her pain into purpose. I find something else in my drawer. Rachel's childhood journal tucked away for years. I open to the first page, written when she was 10. "Mom is my hero. She worked so hard to take care of me after Dad died. When I grow up, I want to be just like her." I break down completely. That child loved me so much. What happened, Diane? Diane found the wound and exploited it. I realized something. Diane fooled judges, police, lawyers, smart women like Amber, Grace, Emma. Why did I expect a 27-year-old girl to be stronger than all of them? I pick up my phone. Stare at Rachel's blocked number. I can't unblock it yet, but I open my laptop. Write an email. No greeting, just, "I read your letters." All of them. I hit send. 5 minutes later, Rachel replies, "Thank you for reading them. That's more than I deserve. I love you. R." The next morning, something different appears on my porch. Not a letter. A small potted plant, a peace lily. The card reads, "My therapist taught me that peace lilies symbolize rebirth and new beginnings. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Just asking you to let me show you slowly that I'm not that person anymore. I'm trying to become someone you can be proud of again. R. I bring the plant inside. Set it on the kitchen windowsill. Water it. A first step. Sunday morning. 1 year to the day since I overheard the conspiracy. The doorbell rings. Rachel stands on my porch, holding a bag of groceries. Her smile is tentative. She looks different, healthier, calmer. I know I should have called first, but I thought, breakfast blueberry pancakes. Your favorite. My eyes blur with tears. Come in. In the kitchen, we move carefully. Rachel cooks while I watch. The familiar habits, the way she cracks eggs, measures flour. But it's different now. There's an invisible distance between us, a hesitation. We sit down to eat. At first, silence. The sound of forks on plates. Then Rachel speaks. I don't expect this to fix everything. Forgiveness isn't a one-time thing. It's a process. But I'm here, for as long as you need. I set down my fork. I read all your letters. Rachel's voice is quiet. I know, thank you. I found your journal, from when you were 10. Rachel's face crumples. Oh God, Mom, you wrote that I was your hero. A long silence. Rachel cries. You were. You still are. It's just, someone convinced me you weren't. I take a breath. This is the hardest conversation we'll ever have. I spent a year being angry. I had every right to be. Rachel nods, doesn't argue. You betrayed me. You helped them try to destroy me. You chose them over me. Yes, no excuses. You told Diane everything I found. Yes, you made me look crazy in front of Judith, in front of everyone. Yes, I did all of those things. I lean forward. But I've also watched you, the letters, your testimony, the work you're doing now. Rachel looks up. I realize something. Diane fooled judges, lawyers, smart women. Why did I expect you to be stronger than all of them? Rachel shakes her head. That doesn't excuse... No, it doesn't excuse it, but it explains it. I pause, and I think, I'm ready to try to forgive you. Rachel collapses into tears. I don't deserve it. I stand, pull Rachel into my arms for the first time in a year. No, you don't, but I'm giving it to you anyway. Because you're my daughter. No matter what happened, I still love you. I never stopped loving you. We hold each other and cry. For what was lost. For what remains. For the painful truth. For the second chance. I pull back, lifting Rachel's face to look at me. But Rachel, if you lie to me one more time, I won't. Never again. Never hide anything, never keep secrets, even if the truth hurts. Rachel grips my hands. I promise, by everything I have. I nod slowly. Okay, then let's try. Let's build something new. I want that so much. It's not perfect. It's not what we had before, but it's honest, and it's a start. We finish breakfast. Rachel washes dishes while I dry. The silence between us is different now. Not empty, not angry, just quiet, tentative, hopeful. Before she leaves, Rachel turns at the door. Can I come back next Sunday, same time? I hesitate, then nod. Yes. Rachel's face lights up. Thank you, Mom, for giving me a chance. After she leaves, I sit at the kitchen table staring at the 2 empty plates. 1 year ago, I was sitting in a restaurant overhearing the worst conversation of my life. 1 year ago, I thought I'd lost my daughter forever. But here we are, broken, healing, together. It's not the ending I imagined, but maybe it's the one we needed. I sit in the back row of the university auditorium. Rachel stands at the podium speaking to 200 people. The banner behind her reads, Recognizing Financial Manipulation, a Survivor's Story. Rachel's voice is confident, clear. My name is Rachel Sullivan. 3 years ago, I nearly became an accomplice in the financial destruction of my own mother. I share my story so that no one else falls into the manipulation I did. I feel pride and heartbreak in equal measure, watching my daughter turn her pain into purpose. After the talk, a young woman approaches Rachel. She's about 25, nervous. My boyfriend's mother is asking me to sign things I don't understand. She says it's normal procedure. But after hearing you, I think I need to check. Rachel's face is serious. Trust your instincts. Don't sign anything until an independent lawyer reviews it. The woman's eyes fill with tears. You just saved me. Thank you. Rachel looks at me across the room, her eyes shining. I nod. Well done, sweetheart. That evening, we returned to the Golden Terrace, back to where it all began. Me, Rachel, Amber, Grace at a table by the window. Not the old table, a new one full of light. The wooden screen is gone. The restaurant remodeled. We raise our glasses. Amber, to survivors. Grace, to justice. Rachel looks at me. To second chances. I say, to truth. We clink glasses. Amber speaks first. I paid off my last debt last month. First time in 3 years I don't owe anyone. Grace adds, I bought a house again. Smaller than before, but it's mine. Rachel smiles. The nonprofit expanded. We helped 47 women last year avoid financial fraud. I look at all 3 of them. You all make me so proud. Rachel's life has changed. She's dating Michael Foster, 32, an architect, a volunteer at the nonprofit. The relationship is slow, careful, healthy. Rachel doesn't rush, doesn't hide. She introduced me to Michael from the start. I approve. He's good for you, he listens, and he respects boundaries. Before we leave, Rachel stops where the wooden screen used to be. I think about that night a lot. What if you hadn't been there? What if Amber hadn't hidden you? What if you hadn't heard? I touch her arm. But I was there. And I did hear. And we survived. Rachel's voice is quiet. Are we okay, Mom? Really okay? I consider this. We're different than before. We'll never be what we were. I pause. But yes, we're okay. We walk outside together into the sunlight. I look at my daughter, no longer the naive girl who believed everything. Now a woman who questions, who protects herself, who helps others. Maybe Diane destroyed us, but we rebuilt ourselves, stronger, wiser, and together. 3 years since that night. 3 years since my world shattered. 3 years since I discovered my daughter had been manipulated into betraying me. What has changed Diane Caldwell is in year 3 of a 7-year federal prison sentence. Brandon and Justin completed probation and are paying restitution. 5 victims received partial compensation. Amber is debt-free. Grace owns a home again. Rachel is helping others avoid what happened to her. What hasn't changed? The pain of betrayal never fully disappears. I still remember the moment my daughter chose them over me. Rachel still carries guilt even though I've forgiven her. We'll never be what we were before. But we survived. And sometimes survival is enough. Lessons learned. Manipulators are professionals. They find your weakness and exploit it. They don't need force, they use psychology. They make you think you're making your own decisions. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing love over hate. It means letting both people grow, but it doesn't mean everything goes back to normal. My daughter was both victim and accomplice. Both are true, and I had to learn to accept that. Red flags everyone should know in relationships. Someone isolates you from family and friends. Someone makes you doubt your own instincts. Someone calls the people who love you controlling or jealous. Someone rushes major financial decisions. Someone says, trust me, without clear explanation. In financial transactions, anyone who tells you to keep money matters secret from loved ones. Anyone who says temporary, but the paperwork says permanent. Anyone who rushes you to sign without time to review. Anyone who says, trust me, instead of, let your lawyer review this. My message to you. If you're a mother, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it usually is. Don't stop fighting for your children, even when they stop fighting for you. If you're a daughter, people who truly love you will never ask you to cut off your family. Independence doesn't mean isolation. Growing up doesn't mean abandoning those who protect you. If you're a victim, it's not your fault. Manipulators are very good at what they do. You're not alone. Help is available. Call to action. Subscribe to see more stories like this. Survival, manipulation, justice, forgiveness. Share this video with mothers worried about their daughters, with daughters being isolated from family, with anyone facing major financial decisions. Comment below. What city are you watching from? Have you experienced something similar? Did this story touch you? Resources. If you or someone you know is experiencing financial fraud. National Elder Fraud Hotline 1-833-FRAUD-11. Consumerfinance.gov. Local Legal Aid Services. Final message. Trust your instincts. Question anything that seems too good to be true. Never stop fighting for the people you love, even when they stop fighting for you. I'm Margaret Sullivan, and this is our survival story. See you soon. Looking back on this journey, I see how close I came to losing my daughter forever. Not to death, but to manipulation, pride, and the walls we built between us. My lessons for you: don't be like me. Don't wait until your world is crashing down to trust your instincts. I ignored the red flags because I wanted Rachel to be happy. I stayed silent when I should have asked questions. By the time I acted, she was already entangled in Diane's web. God gave me 3 chances to save my daughter. The first, when Amber pulled me behind that screen. The second, when I found the courage to confront Rachel despite her anger. The third, when I chose forgiveness over bitterness. If you believe God is working in your life, don't ignore the signs He's showing you. God doesn't give us obstacles. He gives us opportunities to protect those we love. These family drama stories teach us that love isn't always gentle. Sometimes it's fierce, uncomfortable, and requires us to fight for people who don't want to be saved. Family drama stories like mine happen every day. Mothers ignored daughters, manipulated families torn apart by outsiders. And family drama stories can end differently if we act sooner. As for grandma stories, I'm not a grandmother yet, but I've learned what I'll tell my future grandchildren: trust but verify. Love fiercely but set boundaries. Grandma stories should be about wisdom passed down, not regrets lived through. Grandma stories are supposed to end with, "and we all lived happily ever after." But real life is messier, and that's okay. Don't be like me. Don't wait. Don't ignore. Don't let pride or fear silence your voice when someone you love is in danger. I'm grateful you've walked this journey with me. Type "survived" in the comments. If you made it to the end, I need to know you're still here. Fair warning, this story blends real experiences with creative elements designed to educate and inspire. If it doesn't resonate with you, no hard feelings, find what speaks to your heart. But if it does, subscribe, share with someone who needs to hear this, and let's keep the conversation going. Your story matters too.